I'll just go and sort this out over here, Will.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to a Harry's Garage special. I've literally just flown into Geneva for the Geneva Motor Show, which opens tomorrow, but just at the airport, JLR Land Rover have set up a little base camp to show people the I-Pace and also the Defender V8. And this was one opportunity I could get to drive this car. Seems crazy to come all this way out here, but it's ideal conditions. I'm going to head up into the hills out. I'm going to have about a 10-minute drive in it or so. I've got to fight the planes, which is what I'm just going to take off now, but I'm quickly going to give you a tour around the outside of this car. Now, there is a choice of short wheelbase 90s or long wheelbase 110s here. I've gone for the 90 because I just think I love the chunky looks of this car, sitting on its 18-inch wheels and its specially developed brakes as well, and I love that badge with a V8, works of V8. 150 of these cars are going to be created, and they are priced at 150,000 for this short wheel version, and then 160,000 if you want the 110 sensible family version. He just started it up earlier and it does sound epic, just that wonderful V8 woofer. Not in your face woofer, but just classy, really looks good. And it's this black pack and the white, I think it looks fantastic. Oh. It's quite a step up with the bigger wheels, and inside, yeah, it feels, yeah, Defender. First thing you do in all Defenders is see if you can get the seat a bit further back. You can't quite, although with these Recaro backs they had a little bit of room, but actually one thing I'm really pleased to see is an automatic gear stick in here. That does change Defenders in my opinion. It just means you're not reminded every time you change gear that you've got a clutch pedal up here and it's a bit heavy. So automatic is good. And on this car, 8-speed automatic. Now, let's see if I can remember where all the fan was. They fitted a really nice sat-nav unit in here as well. God, you can feel that V8. Feels really crisp. The line sunroof up here. I'm charging on a bit because the light's going, and I don't really. I'm on a time limit. Another thing they couldn't change, unfortunately, was the steering wheel. But that's an easy thing if you want to do it after you've picked the car up. It's one of those legislation things. Wow, V8 Defender. What they wanted to achieve, the team were telling me, they wanted this as a usable car. They haven't gone berserk on horsepower. Although, just coming out of there, this is so unlike a regular Defender already. I've only done 200 metres in it. Wow. I'm doing a U-turn. I've got to change, the first thing I've got to do on this car is change the steering wheel. It's tight on the steering, on the window. I want a smaller wheel just to shrink it a little bit. But what I am noticing is somehow the ride is a whole lot better than your regular Defender. These are still a pretty iffy bit of road just here, but it's softened off. I wasn't expecting that. Some very clever stuff going on. They have done a huge amount of work on the suspension. Everything is basically new on this car underneath, and they've also integrated the dynamic stability control on this car, which is unheard of. You think how much work that must have been, because V8 8-speed gearbox, bigger brakes means you're starting again with all that sort of work on this car. Seems I've managed to come out just as the Geneva rush hour gets going, but I'm going to turn off right down here in a moment and hopefully get a clearer bit of road. But just wanted to go through while we're sat in traffic how much work has gone into this car. It's sort of been a dream of the team to do a V8 Defender, the last of the line V8, for some time. I mean, the teams say about 2014 first prototypes sort of were put together. That's 4 years to get this car available, and it never quite was able to sort of have a green light on it because it never quite made sense. But now that Jag Land Rover has this SVO division and this Jaguar Land Rover Classic, well, then the opportunity arose again, because what was stopping them actually retrofitting the V8 drivetrain that they knew they could do into Defenders. So that's actually what this car is all about. It's when you buy this car, you're actually buying a 2012 on very low mileage Defender that has been taken back to the last nut and bolt and rebuilt up as a V8. That's how they could get through the legislation. Although this car is fully tested, telling me some of the testing they did with this car involved even driving loaded trailers down to the Sahara, uncoupling the trailers, then doing all hot weather testing in the Sahara, putting the trailers back on, and then coming back home. So a thoroughly tested bit of kit, this thing. So cooling not an issue. I see this great big aluminium rad in the front of this thing. It's not a standard rad at all. It's unique to this car, all the cooling, etc. And it's quite a sophisticated engine, this 5 litre engine, 405 horsepower, 500 something newton meters of torque. Sorry, I should know, and I can't quite remember top of my head. But it's got variable cam timing. It's quite a modern unit, and it feels it. So it's got bottom end torque, and it's got a flurry of revs at the top end as well. There's no red line that I can see, but I think it revs quite happily, quite close to 7,000 RPM, 6.5-ish or thereabouts. So quite a high revving engine. So that just means you're going to get to enjoy that V8 woofle quite a lot. And it's interesting, when you lift the bonnet, you'll see the engine is at quite an angle. It's 8-degree angle, and that's so when it's on a front crash, it actually dives under the bulkhead. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes that you wouldn't really think had gone into this car. And by using the donor car and being able to sell a pre-registered car, that's how they could do a V8 version. I am quite looking forward to trying this car out of traffic in Geneva. Is awful. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, it's just after 6 o'clock, so I'm going to run out of light as well. But this was the only opportunity I had to drive this car. So yeah, you've got to grab these opportunities if you can. There's a little bit of harshness coming through, so I'm sitting in traffic. I can feel there's the engine mounts are obviously quite tough to support that weight and to stop it moving around when you're cornering quickly. And there's a little bit of harshness coming through, but they say all that by the time the customers get their cars, we're sure we would have got rid of that. This is, it says here, prototype 002. So this is the second car. The first car, 001, is a red car you've seen in the initial splurb and the press shots, and prototype number 3 is the 110, black 110 that was in the car park. But I wanted to try the short wheelbase one. I'm tantalisingly close to the being able to escape. Here we go, come on, here we get out of the way. I want to hear that V8 again. Here we go, let muscle my way through. I'm in the right car for a bit of muscling through. And away we go. I also really like that it's not a supercharged V8. It has this free revving nature, which is really quite nice in this car. But 8-speed gearbox, I can see it just, it's always quite keen to kick down. I haven't got it in, so I've got it in normal drive at the moment. They're telling me they couldn't, unfortunately, put a bigger petrol tank in, which is one of the problems. For a very brief period at EVA, early days, we had an anniversary, a V8 Defender anniversary, the 50th anniversary, 1998, which was very popular car in the EVA car park when it had a full tank of fuel. And then you realised that it didn't have a full tank of fuel for very long. It was 182 horsepower, but boy did it like a drink. This one, they're telling me, is actually a fair bit more economical. In general running, you should see into the 20s in a cruise across Europe or something like that. So you will get about 50 miles less from a tank than perhaps in your diesel version of Defender. It's quite responsive. It's I am completely lost, and I don't want to turn down a dead end, but I'm going to do, sorry, a bit silly, I'm going to do a lap of the roundabout. I'm going to carry on going round. Roll is controlled, more control than I thought. Put a bit of low through. There's more grip. The steering isn't one of those super quick boxes you can get for Defenders. They decided against fitting those. They said it would, with the stability control they've got fitted on here, it was better with a slower rack. You don't want to be putting armfuls of lock in quickly into a Defender. It doesn't suit the short wheelbase, they're saying. I don't know, I can only judge on this one. But it does have a different, slightly more, you wouldn't say it was pointy or it wasn't sharp steering, but it isn't quite as vague as the irregular Defender, if that sort of makes sense. All I sense is there's a V8 in here that wants to get a move on. God knows what it's like in sport. Let's knock it into sport. This is so cruel. I've been wanting to drive a V8 Defender, and all I've got is the Geneva traffic to fight with. It's not quite what I hoped for. Right, let's see what we can find down here. Oh no, there's more queues. More queues. I'm going round here. No, it's not working. I'm going to take it back quick. Yes. It makes the right sorts of noises, doesn't it? I can tell you that much. Oh, it's a tantalising car. I want to use this on a proper bit of road, and I'm afraid Geneva is not it tonight, so I'm going to head back. Let's boot it out here. Whoa! They've added a lot of performance on this car. My goodness. I think I better quickly get back to base. This isn't a car to test in the centre of Geneva, and keep your driving licence and not empty your credit card in the direction of a policeman. That is a great V8 noise, my goodness. Those guys getting one of these, I think they're going to love them. Absolutely love them. It's like no other Defender at all. Everything is lined with leather. I'm touching everything, sun visors, roof, everything. It's just a bit of a giggle, this car. It makes no sense, a £150,000 Defender that's actually based on a slightly older car. Forget it. The phone ran off the hook. They're all gone basically, and there's some 150 very lucky people going to have the ultimate Defender toy in their garage sometime soon, and I'm a bit jealous of them. Anyway, there you go. A very quick taste of Defender V8. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon. That is a rude noise, isn't it?